In this video, we're going to take a look at a tool called Lasso. It's a plugin for WordPress, and it's primarily going to be of interest for people who are doing affiliate marketing. But I also see it as a bit of a content development tool, and I'll show you how that works inside. So if you're wondering about Lasso, the whole idea is that it gives you displays and places to put information for your links, primarily affiliate links. It does have an integration with Amazon and also now with Wayfair, but there are a few other things you can do with it where you can either put in your own price or programmatically get it. But let me show you what the tool is like. If you're doing affiliate marketing, I think you're really going to like it. Hi, my name is William Bean with Suburbia Press. I am a small business person just like you, and I do affiliate marketing. I have been doing that in the past with a tool called Pretty Links, which I like very much. And what Pretty Links does is it allows you to give a common URL to another URL. So there's a couple of things going on. One is you're kind of protecting the URL for your affiliate. Also, you're making it easy on your visitors by giving them something they can remember than using some of the long jargon-induced URLs that you get from a lot of affiliates. Lasso does that and so much more. Matter of fact, it can import what you have in Pretty Links into Lasso. And let's go ahead and get started. So I'm on the Suburbia Press website, and I've gone to the Lasso page, and one of the first things that I saw that popped up today was this. There's a little Lasso tip of the week. They also do updates regularly, and that's kind of what they're talking about here. So they continuously ship new features based on customer feedback. I can validate that. I haven't been using this tool more than a couple of months, but they have already implemented some of my requests, one of which was from Pretty Links. So for example, in Pretty Links, I had categories and tags that identified the various links that I put in there. When I imported those into Lasso, that information didn't come over. So I reached out to them. I said, hey, it would be nice if you could import this information so that way it's easier to find some of the links that I'm looking for. They said, you know what? Great idea. We like that. We're going to implement it. And they did. It was out a week, maybe 2 weeks, I think. It didn't take them very long to develop it. There is another recommendation I made, which is based off of schema for pros and cons. This is something that'll show up in Google search results. And there are pros and cons in the display for Lasso. And I proposed that as well. Can we put in schema for our pros and cons? They said, yes, we like that idea too. That one still hasn't come out yet, as far as I know, but they are receptive to your input and it will help make the product better. I am seeing that there are updates, sometimes little fixes, sometimes larger things. But if you give them their feedback, they're interested in it, and it makes a better product. And you can see here they have a roadmap, and that way it just adds more value. So I'm going to close this. And this is my dashboard. So all I have here is a bunch of links. You're going to see these little links up here. There are opportunities. Depending upon what you have on your site, they may also show you broken links. For example, if you have an affiliate link that no longer leads to anything, you'll see broken links. And then another one might be something that's out of stock. For Amazon, you can do an API integration. It'll tell you, hey, you're trying to sell something that is out of stock. And that's been useful for me on some sites because there are things that I recommended in the past that are no longer valid products. So I need to go back and change those links or recommend something else. If I see these opportunities, I can see a number of the different things that I have, and I can see the locations where I have it. And if I look at the alert, it says there's an opportunity here that I could put this someplace else. So for example, I've got last year's Black Friday. I could have put it in there, and all I would have to do is click this to monetize a link for that. I'm not going to do that because that's last year's Black Friday, but the idea is you can easily see where you have an opportunity to monetize something that's already on your blog. You can see the locations where it exists. And this is on my review of Link Whisper. And you can see the details of what you have going on here. There are also opportunities over here. You can create tables, which I only have one right now. And that's for like my top 3 email marketing services that I put at the top of my best of list. And then you also have groups. So when I mentioned in Pretty Links that I had categories and tags, over here they have groups. So for example, I've got different cameras, I've got lead generation tools, I've got different things for Amazon and WordPress themes. So depending on which page you're on, you'll see different groups. So if I look at my top email, I have only 4 there. Those are my 4 most recommended things, and that's where I've could build a group off of that. Uh, this is a tech stack that I have. So if I click on this, these are the things that I use to build Suburbia Press, and obviously that I recommend. So I put this together so I can have an article that will list all of these out. And that gets us into the different types of displays. So let me switch to a different page. So this is a site that I have called Orlando Local, and I've got a best travel car seat for plane carry-on. It's a long tail keyword, but it was one where I had a feeling like I could probably rank for this. So what I did was I put up a lot of information on, travel car seats for plane carry-on. And right at the beginning, people kind of like to see, what are your recommendations? This display that you see here is a list post created from different records that I have inside of Lasso. So for each one, this is actually a rather long one. You can see that it's doing a numerated list. In other words, there's one, there's two. This is perfect for search engines. They like structured data. So if you look at the source code for this, this is a numerated list, and it's an ordered list, another way to put it. And that way, it's very structured and easy for the search engine to tell which is which. So I've got my headline over here. You can see the price that comes in automatically. In this case, all of these, I think, are coming from Amazon Prime. And I wrote a little bit of a description over here. And then you've got these little things down here. Are they easy to use? Do they fit a vehicle latch? Or how well do they fit? In other words, is it easy to put in there? And then there's pros and cons. So this is where I kind of wanted to see, is there something with the schema that we were talking about earlier that I can put in here? And that's something that they're working on. And I've also got the weight. And I do that for each of these. Now, as we scroll down further, there is a different list because there's different types of, baby carrier seats. These are the ones for infant car seats, which only ride in reverse. And there are also a different kind of baby seats that are convertible, which means that they can fit in either direction. And the stuff that you look at for the criteria is a little bit different. So there's still ease of use, but then there's a rear latch, a rear belt, and a forward latch. You can still put the weight in there, the pros and cons, and so forth. All of this was done. I didn't have to write this in WordPress as an article. I compiled this inside of Lasso. So let me go back and show you something. So we're on the dashboard, and we can look at, let's say for this one, for wishlist member. This is how you put things in here. So you can get your affiliate URL and put it in this spot over here. It'll bring in whatever it knows. If it's an Amazon thing, it'll bring in the full URL. And then if you have a secondary destination, for example, you may want to link to different things. Maybe it's Amazon in one place and direct with a vendor on another one, who knows. In this case, I did a review. So I clicked a little thing over here. There is our review. And it opens in a new tab by default. I've got it set for no follow, no index, which is what you do for affiliate links. Now, down here, you can see the groups that I've put it in. And these are custom fields. It comes by default with a primary rating, pros, and cons. So we've seen those basically right over here. So this is my primary rating, 4.5, and that's based off of what I came up with in the review. There are the pros and cons, and then you can go ahead and click the button to, purchase it or look at the review. If I want to look at another custom field, there's a couple of things you can do. So if you add from library, by default, it ships with these. You can add to this. So for example, if I wanted to create a new one, I can give it a title. I've got different types of text where the short, which is maybe one line, long text would be like paragraphs or blocks of text, numbers, star ratings, a bulleted list or numbered list. And then you can put a description in to whatever you want to do. And you can add that to your library of custom fields. And if you ever need to, you can click on Manage Fields, and it'll show you these are the things that you have that you can go ahead and manage. So let's go over here and click on Add a New Link. When this comes up, first thing you need to do is give it a URL. So in this case, I've got one for Aweber. I don't remember if I've put this in here or not already, but let's go ahead and click Add Link. I think I have put this one in here. And nope, I haven't. But what it did was, you see, it comes up with a title. It's pulled in the logo from Aweber. And this title is probably a little bit longer than I want. I am just going to go ahead and take off this information, just call it Aweber. And I'll do the same thing over here for my permalink. I'll just make that Aweber. So if I put this up there, someone could go to suburbiapress.com/aweber, and that would take them to my affiliate link. You can go over and select your groups. If you don't have a group that you want, you can type it in. For all of my affiliate links, I use affiliate, obviously, because it doesn't have to be an affiliate link. So, for example, if you were doing a list of blog posts, you could use Lasso to create a grid or a list or table of those. And let's come down here and let's say that we want this to be email. And then now I could just go ahead and I could put in my badge, I can put in the price and my description over here. By default, they give you an affiliate disclosure. It says, we earn a commission if you make a purchase at no additional cost to you. And I think that's fine. It says show disclosure, so you can show it or not show it. And you can put in your own disclosure here. So if you don't like what they've written, then you can add your own personal disclosure and it works just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And that's something that I'll come back later on. And as soon as I did it, it says permalink aweber is being used by Lasso URLs. We've updated the link to avoid a conflict. What it does, apparently I did have this one on here, is it says aweber-2. And that means I did end it up there. Now, there are ways that you can have more than one Lasso record for an existing link, but that's something in the settings that you need to go back and enable. By default, it will avoid setting up something that you don't want to duplicate. So I'm going to delete this link because that might cause some confusion if people are coming to my site and seeing more than one link for Aweber. And now the next thing to do is, how do you actually use this inside of a post? And you can use this on posts or pages. You can use this with a classic editor, or you can use this in the Gutenberg editor. So let's just go ahead and click Add New. So right over here, I can click on, since I'm in Gutenberg, I can click on my plus, and this is Lasso. If you don't see it there, you can go ahead and just type in Lasso and it'll show up. It depends on how many Gutenberg blocks you have. And the first thing you're going to see is choose a Lasso link to display. All this is really doing is putting in a shortcode. You can get a shortcode from your record, but this kind of helps you build it. So let's say that I want to put in a single item. I can put in a button, an image, or a gallery. I have found that these ones up top, single, grid, list, and table, are the only ones that I really use. And by far, I use single and list the most. So let's go ahead and click on single. And we'll go with wish list member again. And that's what it looks like. So there's a place where you can add a little badge up here if you want to in the record. And that's what I've done. And it shows up just like this. So you can see the short code down here. Now, if you want to, you can add to that short code. You can also change things. So for example, here on the block settings, you can change the product title. You can change the URL, the title tag, the description. You can change the badge. So let's say, or you can hide it using this hide value over here. So it's not going to show up here until I publish this. And I'm not going to do that because, quite honestly, this is not a post I want to put on a live site. But you can change things over here. This brag mode down here is this little icon over here. And basically, that's an affiliate link to Lasso. So for example, if you purchase Lasso and you use it, you can enable this brag mode. And if someone clicks it, there's the potential they may buy Lasso from your affiliate link. So I've got that enabled on mine because I'm an affiliate marketer and opportunities to sell things are good to me. And they have different themes. So Cactus, Cutter, Lab, they've got different names for them that honestly don't mean much at all. But let's close this and we'll click on display. And this is where you can change the theme and the display type. So for example, I'm using this theme called Splash. So you can see the pick over here. Also, you can change the colors. This is my brand color for Suburbia Press, where I've got that purple, and that's why these colors are here. This green is actually their default, but it works very well along with the purple that I have. So you can put that on there, and if you want to, you can go look at the different themes. So for Cactus, it's slightly different. You can see the edge over here. We can look at Cutter, and you can see there's a border going around it. The buttons have changed, and they're much larger. I'm not going to go through each of these, but all I want to say is that you can change them. This is a bit more flat. So in other words, there's no edge that would show up on the background of your post or page where you're using this. And that just gives you a few different options. So I'm going to go back down. I like this one called Splash, and I'll leave it as that. So you can change this. Now, this button down here where it says need more customization, they'll help you out with the CSS to make this look the way you want. For example, you may not want a black background. Maybe you want to change the background. You can do a little bit here, make the background black, make the text white, or change it around. But you can do some other CSS. And if you need help with that, they will help you if you just click this, and it'll take you to a page where you can get some more assistance. On Amazon, you can see that you've got your affiliate links and your keys, but the general display is where you're going to have your license. You can integrate this with Google Analytics, and that will show you on Google who's clicking on your links, and you can see what kind of traffic you're getting for each of the items that are being displayed. And you can see that the maximum CPU, in other words, they're going to keep it from overwhelming your server if you don't have that much power. If you're on a shared hosting, you may want to change this a little bit. If you're on a VPS or a dedicated server, you can probably give it a little bit more, but you don't want to give it 100% for just one tool. And that is also something else you can do. It's like these things where it says notifications, you can disable them. By default, the notifications are turned on. So I've left these on because I want the tooltips. I want to know, if there are imports or other things from Amazon. And you can also set permissions as to a minimum level of role who can access them. And you can also prefix your cloaked link. So in other words, by default, they put in a path called recommends. I'm not using that, but I have seen that on some other sites as well. Overall, I find this to be a pretty interesting tool. Let me show you an example of how I'm using it on Suburbia Press. All right, so this is my article on the best email marketing services. And you can tell that I've got, on every page pretty much, I put up this little notice about affiliates marketing. And I've got my top picks up here. And that's where I am showing a grid that's giving me these things. And you can change how many items you see in a grid. Since I've got a sidebar over here, I only chose 2. You may want to change that for whatever width that you have on your site. So that's where I've got a grid. Those are my top things. And I wanted to put those right up front for the people that just want to come in and say, what's the best that you have to offer and why? And typically, I will use these little badges over here to kind of tell people it's best for whatever. I like ActiveCampaign very much, and that's the number one recommendation for most small businesses. MailerLite has the best deliverability rate of any of these services. WordPress users, if you want to use a WordPress plugin, I've got Fluent CRM, and if you're a creator, ConvertKit is a very good choice. But once you get past that, I've got some information about how do you choose what's right for you, and then this is where the list comes in. You don't see the badge when you're displaying a list, but you can give all this information, and all I have to do is, as I create these things, I put them in a group, they will automatically show up here. So right now, I think I have 11 in here, but as I add more things to my email marketing recommendations, it'll just add number 12, number 13, and on down the line. All I have to remember to do is kind of change my title. So right now it says 11 best email marketing. If I add more, I just need to go change that. I'll change it with my search engine, update material. And that way I've got the correct title to go with whatever it is that I'm posting here. The reason for Lasso is because just putting in a link is easy to miss. A lot of people are used to seeing links and they just gloss right over it. This puts it up front and in their face. And it doesn't have to be this much information. I'm doing this because I think the people who are looking for an email service, or on the other example I gave with the baby seats, they're looking for detailed information. That's what I put in here. On something else, a simple paragraph, hey, speed up your site using WP Rocket, might be enough. And then you've got nice, big, colorful buttons. It gets their attention. Whereas a link like this, people may see it and gloss right over it. The other thing to keep in mind about how this works is that people don't read long articles like this. If I scroll through this, you're going to see that there's a lot of text in here. And this is for the people that want to read it and get into it. But for the people who just say, what's your best? That's why I have the grid of the 4 up top. And then I order these things. It's a simple drag and drop to select which order they are. And this is where they can just say, what's the best? Active campaigns your best? Great. That's what I want. People scan. They don't necessarily read all of this unless they're really into doing their research and trying to get everything. So I put in extra details like what is the email deliverability? 91% is what they have based upon this site, that link that I just told you about that we kind of glossed over. Campaign Monitor has done testing to see what is the email deliverability for a number of email marketing services. So I included that in here because what good is an email marketing service if it doesn't get your message to the right person? But what I like about Lasso is that I can put these details in here and build kind of a lengthy article that hopefully is helpful to people about what they want to use. Now, if you're used to something like Pretty Links or Thirsty Affiliates, you can still do links like this. Remember, it gives you a link that you customize, and you can put that wherever you want. But the thing I like about these displays is that they're much harder to ignore than something like a link. I mean, where there's so many links around here, people can just scan right over them. All right, so let's come back to our Lasso dashboard. So you can see that there are opportunities that you can find. That's what these little things are. And there are tables you can create, groups that we said. You can add fields. You can import from other services, change your settings. You can get support and check on your account right here. So there are a lot of opportunities here. I think this is a wonderful tool. Remember, this is also a content development tool. If you have a list of your best articles and you want to display them, this is another way to do it. So you don't have to just display affiliate links. You can display links to anything. Maybe your recommendations of other sites, maybe your best articles, your own reviews or a list of reviews. All of that stuff can go in here. And I think it is something that is just really wonderful. I am happy with it. I can see that I'm already getting sales off of this in places where some of these affiliate links were just from Pretty Links and I had them bolded and hyperlinked. It was easy for people to jump over them. So now that this is much more in your face and noticeable, you've got a bright display, a big bright button. That's what people are looking for in order to click an affiliate link. And I think Lasso is the best way to do it. All right, I hope this helped you out. As I said, this is an affiliate offer. So if you use my link, it won't cost you anything else, but I will get a commission from this. And that's what affiliate marketing is. If you're into affiliate marketing, this is something that you really ought to take a look at. I did a previous video, and I'll link that showed how to try and build something on your own. And I was doing that in Cadence. It was a lot of work. And if I had to do it for every page, it would be very, very tedious. This makes it simple and easy to use to create individual displays, lists, tables, groups, and you can just put them out there and they work very well. If you like this video, please go ahead, click the like button below. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, I'm going to be doing more on content development. Please subscribe. We'd love to have you here. My name is William Beam from Suburbia Press. Thank you so much. We'll see you again in the next video.